All right, everybody. Here we are, week 4 of the Texas High School Football Playoffs. I'm James Bellini. My co-host here, Ryan Chadwick. How you doing, buddy?
We're at that point. 2 weeks away from state. We still got a Concho Valley team alive. We got
one left.
Yeah, Greater San Angelo area. No, I'm kidding. Big country team Brownwood. They're still alive. That they're going to be playing this weekend. Just excited that football's still going for us. Really hope that Wall puts a better showing against Canadian tonight.
Right. No, we got Wall Canadian. We got Brownwood Decatur. We have games from last night. We got Albany, Collinsville, Ganado, and Refugio. That was kind of a shocker. We're going to get to that, but first, here's a word from Jim Bass from the Bass Bunch.
If you're looking for a spacious SUV, this is probably a top pick. The rear spoiler and the roof rack just add to give it a sportier and more polished look. Oh, did I mention we discounted it $6,000 off MSRP?
Get a new 24 Nissan Murano Platinum and get $6,000 off MSRP. Jim Bass Nissan, Houston Hart at Arden Road or 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
Don't you just love it?
All right, everybody. We're going to talk about the Wall Hawks. They actually had Dak Gwynn come out this week and talk to them, try to get them fired up for this Canadian game. Last year, this Canadian game was kind of one-sided. That quarterback for Camden Cavalier for the Wildcats is a crazy good quarterback. Wall's defense, of course, only allowed 95 points this year. Chadwick, what do you think about this Wall team?
I think that this Wall team is better prepared to play Canadian this year. I know that the coaches before the season started made a bunch of changes to their scheme and to their offense and defense that would better match what Canadian can do. I was talking to Coach Guy at practice this week, and you'll hear more from that later, but he basically said that they will play better against Canadian this year. He pretty much knows that they'd get to this point in the year. They know how they were good enough to make it to the 4th round again. And to be honest, James, I think everyone's just hoping for a more competitive game this year. So is this the season where Wall gets over the hump? I don't know. But Gunter Dillard's a year older. Nathan Pepper's doing his thing. You know, he was the main reason why Wall won against Lubbock Roosevelt last week. You got more speed on the offense with Luke Kemp and Hagan Barbie and Briggs Jones, you know, and that's not even talking about the monsters on defense. They got the 4 horsemen out there. As James said, they're allowing less than 100 points a game. I hope they're allowing less than 100 points a game. They've allowed less than 100 points on the season. I think that they're averaging, at this point, a little bit less than 7 points a game. It might be like 6.9, 7.1, something like that. But it's a crazy stat.
Around 1 touchdown.
Yeah, especially at this point in the season against this caliber of opponent. Lubbock Roosevelt wasn't no slouch. Even Coach Guy gave credit. They said that Lubbock Roosevelt might run the triple option better than they do. But they're going to have to show up tonight. Canadian graduated some of their big guys off of their offensive line, but Wall is still, I think, has a little bit more speed than Canadian this year. I know Canadian also got a little bit faster, but that Wall defense should be much more effective. Can they hold them to 7 points? That remains to be seen. But can they hold them to less than 40? Let's hope so.
Yeah, earlier this year, Canadian played Canyon Randall, and they went to like 8-minute quarters running clock because Canadian was just that good. They are like, I'm not taking anything away from them, man. They are a very good program up there. They very easily could have went to state last year, but they played the Fog Bowl there at ACU. And Chadwick, you went to that game. You couldn't even see across the field. The fog was so thick. You know, you could see half of the line, and you couldn't see anything else. That's how thick that fog was. And it was still, what, a 21-20 game or something like that?
It might have even been closer than that. Like I know Gunter won on a touchdown in the last 10 seconds. You know what I mean, or last 20 seconds. But yeah, Canadian couldn't even throw the ball in the first half. That's how thick the ball was, and that was a large part of their offense. And like they are still that good. They're number 2 in the state for a reason. And I know Wall's also in the top 10, but they definitely got their work cut out for them tonight.
Yep. All right. Chadwick, where is this game? When is this game, man?
This game's going to be in Lubbock tonight at Lubbock Cooper's Pirate Stadium at 6 o'clock.
All right, man. When we come back, we're going to hear from Coach Guy. But first, here's a quick word about Angelo Bolt Industrial Supplies. Chadwick, take it away.
Our coverage of the Wall Hawks is brought to you by Angelo Bolt at 808 Warehouse Road. Opened in 1994, Angelo Bolt and Industrial Supply Incorporated has served the Concho Valley for 29 years and counting. Angelo Bolt is the go-to place for fasteners, power tools, air compressors, safety equipment, and everything in between. Chances are Angelo Bolt will always have what you need when you need it, and in the rare chance that they don't have that odd fastener or special part you're looking for, they'll find it fast. No request is too big or small at Angelo Bolt, located at 808 Warehouse Road, where customer service is their top priority. Thank you, Angelo Bolt, for bringing us all this Wallhawks coverage throughout the playoffs.
All right. And here is Coach Guy, head coach of the Wallhawks.
All right, joining me now is head coach of the Wallhawks, Houston Guy, ahead of the regional final matchup against Canadian. Coach, it's a rematch of last year. How are we feeling?
We're feeling pretty good. We've had a great week of practice. You know, we changed some of our game plans up from what we used last year, and so we're looking forward to our game on Friday night.
All right, Coach, the question on everybody's mind is, like, obviously the game did not go exactly how anyone from Wall or the greater San Angelo area wanted it to go last season. What makes this year's team different?
You know, there's a little bit of familiarity with playing those guys. You know, a second time around, you kind of understand kind of what they're about, how they're going to play, the speed of the game, and how fast they're going to get snaps off, and how aggressive they're going to be defensively. So there's a little bit of we understand kind of their game a little bit better now.
Yeah, and after last year's season, of course, Canadian is still ranked really high. They're still really good, but they graduated some of those big boys, right?
They did. They did.
So do you think that y'all will be able to handle the line of scrimmage a little bit better than you did?
We're hoping we can. You know, they graduated most of their big kids. They still have some really good sized kids, but they're a little more athletic. You know, they're a little faster getting off the ball, and that poses a different kind of animal for us. And so we just got to be better, be a little more sound than we were last year, and still stay aggressive up front on that line of scrimmage on both sides, really.
In this playoff run, y'all's defense is averaging, allowing less than 7 points a game. Is that going to be what this comes down to? How well your defense matches up, and how well your offense can keep theirs off the field? You know,
we've relied on our defense all year long. Our defense has kept us in ball games when our offense was struggling a little bit, and so we rely heavily on our defense, you know, to make sure that the score stays somewhat relatively low. And so, you know, again, we're going to try to rely on that defense to keep their offense from putting too many points on the board, but we're going to rely also on our offense to keep their offense off the field. We expect our offense to start moving the ball a little bit better and not having to turnovers and getting first downs and at least moving the chains and keep their offense on the sideline.
Now, offensively, it seems like that your running backs have hit a different gear once you've gotten to the playoffs. A big part of that is Nathan Pepper. He had an incredible performance last week. Definitely could call him the MVP offensively for y'all a week ago. If Canadian just basically stacks the box and sends the house, like what is going to be the difference this year?
You know, it's one of those things where we throw the ball a little bit better than we did last year. Our receivers they're a lot better than we were last year as far as getting the ball in space. Our Gunter's just matured a lot better at the quarterback position, you know. So I think those are some assets that we didn't have in place last year that we do this year.
All right, Coach, go ahead and tell everybody when and where this matchup's at.
The game's going to be 6 o'clock at Lubbock Cooper on Friday night.
All right. Again, this has been head coach of the Wallhawks, Houston Guy.
Thank you very much.
All right, Coach Guy, always good to hear from the man himself. You know, Canadian, I think they're going to have to work it out for him maybe. You know, maybe Wall is gonna do something. This interview, though, from Coach Guy has been brought to you by Hartman Roofing. Hartman Roofing, if you want to stay in the game, don't get beat over the top. At Hartman Roofing, the proof is in the roof. From residential houses to commercial buildings, Hartman Roofing is the roofer you can trust to do it right and do it right the first time. To get a quote today, call Hartman Roofing at 325-653-2888. All right, moving on. We're going to talk about Brownwood right now, man. Brownwood, they are playing Decatur at McLean Stadium there in Waco, man. Have you been to Waco? Have you been to McLean, dude?
I have been to McLean Stadium. I watched Texas Tech play Baylor there a couple seasons ago, and man, it is a cool place. I am really jealous of our home Matt Cotrier. He's going to be in Waco
He's
tonight.
going to be there, man. It's time to, you know, got to enjoy this, you know, going to these college stadiums, man. These are cool places to be at, and there's a lot of people I know in San Angelo who have been to a Baylor games. Talked about Brownwood real quick, though. I've been to a couple Brownwood games, or one and a half Brownwood games. I went to the Battle 377. Quarterback Ike Hall is extremely talented. He's way too talented for the type of performance that they kind of put together against Stephenville, even though Stephenville's a good opponent. But Ike Hall can absolutely play. Marcelo Hooker, he is a wide receiver, safety for him. He is extremely talented. Quentin McCarty, their defensive tackle up front, he is a very good player. And they just need to do what they need to do. That defensive coordinator there and I kind of know each other pretty well. I film their games, their junior high games, I guess. Their 7th, 8th grade team. His son's the quarterback, and talked to him a couple times. I kind of fell in love with the guy a little bit. When they lost to Stephenville, their offense didn't do a lot. And I was like, man, their offense is way too talented. Quarterback's way too talented to not do anything. And he took everything on himself. Said, man, we have to play better. We can't get there and tie it up and then give up a touchdown. We have to make that tackle. So he's very big on taking things on himself and saying, hey, the defense has to play better. And I kind of love that answer. What do you like that? You like that, Chadwick? You like the answer, man?
Oh, of course. Like whenever the coaches and the leaders on the team are the first ones to say this is on me, like that they truly care about their program. James, my question is, Decatur's lost a couple more games than Brownwood has this year, but do you think that comes down to a quality opponent? Because I know Brownwood played, Stephenville, and they were incredibly talented, but their district, Lubbock Estacado challenged them, but other than that, Lakeview had a down year, Big Spring had a down year. At what point do you judge this? Because it is the 4th round of the playoffs, so there's no bad teams left, But do you think Brownwood has a shot to go win state this year?
No, absolutely, man. They're in the 4th round for a reason, But Decatur has a couple of good players. They have Palmer, their running back. He's put up 1,500 yards this year, 23 touchdowns. So McCarty up front's going to have to handle business there. Then out wide, they've got Feltz at receiver. They've got, of course, Palmer out at receiver, Gilbreth Jr. out at receiver. They have 20 touchdowns altogether as far as receiving. So yeah, they kind of got their work cut out for them on defense. Another thing, though, that Stephenville game, quarterback went down with a shoulder injury. Backup went out there for 2 plays. Then he went out with an injury. So they were on their 3rd-string quarterback, who was a linebacker.
Close. Yeah, and it was still close.
And I know that it's that's their 3rd-string guy. But how are you supposed to know what their 3rd-string quarterback's going to look like in the game? I mean, you kind of don't. So him going out there, you don't know how he's going to play. You've watched their starter, so. Yeah, you kind of had a wild card thrown at you, and it was a close game at the end. That kicker for Brownwood made a 50-yarder. I was really excited. Great kick. You don't really see that at the high school level, but Brownwood's they're a good team, man, and their defense just came back and did the same thing they did last year. They went deep last year, and I think they graduated 9 players on defense or something like that, and they still came back and did what they did.
And lo and behold, here they are, right?
Yeah, no, and this should be a good one.
Yeah, well, go ahead and tell us when and where this one's at.
This one's at McLean Stadium at 7 o'clock. And going on, Texas Bank. COVER1 Scoreboard is brought to you by Texas Bank. Locally owned and governed, Texas Bank is a proud sponsor of COVER1 Athletics. Just like the guys on the field, Texas Bank wants to show you what it means to be a team. From checking to savings to personal loans to commercial loans, Texas Bank is where San Angeloans Texas Bank is here for San Angeloans with 3 convenient locations. So when thinking of where to bank, use the local guys at Texas Bank.
All right, James, let's get into some of these games from last night.
Yeah, let's talk about Ganado, man. Is it Ganado or Ganado?
Ganado. A coach confirmed it for me.
Sorry, Ganado. They played Mason earlier this year, and they beat Mason. And Mason had a legit chance to go, to state this year. Well, they beat Refugio last night. Ganado did, and Refugio is, of course, one of those teams that's always good, and regardless of what their coach makes excuses about. But they beat him 41-12. What do you think about that, Chadwick?
I mean, that's really surprising for me because Refugio was going to return another really good squad. This is a team that made it to the state championship last year, ran up against the meat grinder that was the Holly Bearcats in that one, right? It's Bearcats, right? I'm not wrong.
Bearcats.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Holly fans. Not trying to say anything about that, but Holly won state in that one. Starters were sitting by the fourth quarter, but like that was a testament how good Holly was. Refugio also like brought a really good squad. They made it to the state game. It's so hard to win 15 games in a season, and get that 16th win, get that state championship is always insanely difficult. And so coming back to this year, you knew that they were going to have another good squad, and Ganado did exactly what they did to Mason. Like it was kind of close in the beginning, and then it just kind of got away from them. So I think that this Ganado team might have what it takes to go hoist that trophy in Jerry World this year.
Yeah, the other 2A school coming out of there, that's going to kind of be decided next week. Toller is a big 2A school. That would be one of the teams that they could face. The other team they could face is Stratford or Holly. Stratford is extremely good. Holly is going to have their hands full with Stratford tonight. But talking about Toller, Peyton Brown is a big-time running back. He's like a 6'2", 240-pound running back. He's just a freight train out there. And they beat Marlin last night, 42-19. Toller's one of those teams that kind of out on this side of Dallas. They are very, very good team. They were good last year. I think they made it this deep, and they ended up playing maybe Collinsville. I don't know. Either way, Toller won their game last night, so they will play the winner of the winner of Stratford Holly, and then next week, actually Ganado would play them in the state championship. So whoever wins, Toller Holly, they'll play in the state championship, or Stratford Holly against Toller, they'll play in the state championship against possibly Ganado. Timpson, I think, is out there too. They, of course, have Terry Bussey. Their quarterback is a freak of nature. He is a very good quarterback. But anyway, sorry, I kind of rambled there, man. I apologize.
We were interested, man. We were listening.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of information there. Stratford Holly play tonight, and they'll play Toller next week. Whoever wins that game.
Yeah. Well, there was another game last night, and they. It was a similar opponent, like the Miles Bulldogs actually lost to this team, and Collinsville.
Miles Bulldogs lost to both of them.
Yep, yeah, okay, yeah, there we go. And Collinsville went out there and got their butts whipped. So go ahead and tell us about that one.
Collinsville played Albany last night in Iowa Park, and Albany beat them 52-14. Albany is the real deal again. Adam Hill, of course, is a great interview. If you ever get a chance to talk to the kid, he is fantastic to talk to. I actually think he's a Texas Tech commit this year too. So
it doesn't surprise me. I've said from probably week 3 this season that Albany is going to repeat. So I think that they're just like too good on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense smothers you, and like it's just they have too much talent. And like I said, they're going to be like I'm putting my money on it. I'm putting right now like Albany's going to hoist that trophy at Jerry World.
And yes, he is. He is a Tech commit. He tweeted out, "Blessed to have the opportunity to continue my athletic and academic career at Texas Tech. Thank you to all the coaches and recruiters who helped me get here. Wreck 'em." What do you think about that, man? That kid is.
I'm excited.
He can hurdle guys.
But y'all know that I'm a Texas Tech grad and I love my Red Raiders. So anytime I can see a guy who just dominates at the high school level, I'm just like, all right, come on down to Lubbock.
Yeah, he had 29 carries last night for 223 yards, and I think he had quite a few touchdowns.
Well, and we're going to need someone to replace Taj Brooks after this year anyway. So, like, I know we got a couple good running backs in the bag right now, but, hey, we've had freshmen prove themselves before, so let's see what he's got next year.
Man, at that New Home game last year, first off, he's a big back. He wasn't quite, what was his name, Lefevre-sized. Lefevre was more of a pounder back, and he pounded in from the 1-yard line at the state title game last year a couple times. Adam is, you can't go, I mean, he's big too, but you go high on him, you're gonna bounce off him. You go low, he's gonna jump over you. So congratulations, man. That's fantastic and great. I'm happy for you, and keep playing your game. But anyway, quick moving on. We're gonna get to our players of the week here in a second, but first, a quick word from Intertel. Intertel is a proud sponsor of COVER1 Intertel has been providing cutting-edge proven technology for homes and businesses in the Concho Valley. Just like the game of football, a good defense is important to winning. Need a security system or cameras? Get a free quote today by visiting Intertel.com or by calling 325-658-8375. All right. Chadwick, let's talk about our players of the week. We kind of changed it up. We kind of had 2 players from last week.
Well, I mean, I feel like at this point we kind of have to, because there weren't that many teams left in the Concho Valley, and when 2 young men put out performances like they did for their squads, like, you could just kind of say, hey, this is a shared player of the week, you know? So
absolutely, man. And first up is my boy from Sonora,
a repeat winner,
Edgar Duna. Yeah. Oh, hang on, let me fix it. Oh, never mind. Edgar Duna. He has won our player of the week before.
This is his 3rd time now, isn't it?
Yep. He could have won it every week, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. I mean, he's probably going to be like in the MVP conversation for us. But Edgar Duna last week had 164 yards and a touchdown against Holly. He is fantastic. He's a fantastic player.
Two-way player.
And a great, two-way player. He probably leads Sonora in tackles. He's probably had over 500 tackles, 600 tackles just in the past 3 years. And, back when Blake Weston took over out there, I was like, hey, man, who's the guy out there on your team who doesn't get a lot of, attention, who deserves it? He goes, man, Edgar Duna is a tackling machine for us. And sure enough, he showed up and showed out. He's got the size to go play somewhere. I hope somebody, maybe Gersh here maybe Gersh over there at Angelo State, maybe looks his way.
I mean, shoot, he's already had an official visit to Texas Tech, so
yeah,
Joey McGuire might be picking him up.
He's a great kid, man, and so gracious and so humble. And last week after the game, they got beat. Man, I wish it was us. Thanks for supporting Sonora football, man, and just soft-spoken and just a great kid. And I wish him the best. I actually saw Hae Butron's quarterback last night at HEB, and he was, he's just gushing about Edgar, man. Just great teammate, great kid, and humble as hell. And I hope he does something with it. Chadwick, let's talk about the other back.
All right, so the other back in the Concho Valley won last week, and he was the majority of the reason why, and it's the Wallhawks fullback, Nathan Pepper. The young man had a solid first half, had a touchdown in the first half, and then when Wall needed somebody to step up, keep a drive alive, and keep the Hawks rolling so they could start really implementing the triple option offense and really grind some time off the clock, they literally handed it to Nathan Pepper like 9 times in a row on the opening drive in the second half. And what did he do with it? Just drove 75 yards down the field and got into the end zone. The young man had exactly 100 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns, and I think he had a couple catches as well. But it wasn't exactly his numbers that really cemented the deal for me. It was just his presence. It took 4 or 5 guys to bring him down every time he touched the ball. He's a tough runner. He's fast, and you do not want to go straight up with him, because if you go one-on-one with him straight up over the middle, he will run you over. So he's a big bruiser back. Got a little bit of speed, not much, not as much as maybe Luke Kemp or Briggs Jones or Hagan Barbie out there. But when he gets a full head of steam, get out of his way, because like I said, he will flatten you. And he was a big reason why the Wallhawks were able to pull away from Lubbock Roosevelt in the end. So with that being said, he has a big test tonight against Canadian, and the Wallhawks are going to need him to have another game like that to move on to the 5th round here. But yeah, congratulations to Nathan Pepper. Great kid. He's also a good interview, and if he plays well again tonight, he's probably going to be the one I try to snag.
All right, man. Let's hear a quick word from Carpet Tech real quick.
All right. Carpet Tech is a proud sponsor of COVER1 Athletics, and this year brings you the COVER1 Player of the Week. Carpet Tech is your local go-to carpet cleaner. Remember, if your home is in a wreck, call Carpet Tech at 325-999-5142. All
right, here we go. Moving on to picks. Let's talk about our picks. We're picking 2 games tonight. That's all we have. We have Wall Canadian. We have Brownwood Decatur. I am picking Wall and Brownwood. Chadwick, who are you picking?
I'm actually gonna be the proverbial bad guy this week, and it's
What?
just gonna be like I know. I'm sorry. Like I believe in the Hawks. I just think that Canadian is number 2 for a reason, and they're on their own version of a revenge tour this year. I feel like they don't think they should have lost to Gunter last year. Gunter basically rolled their way to a state championship against Poth last year, and like I guarantee you that those Wildcats are sitting at home saying that should be us. I do think the game's going to be a lot closer this year, but I do think Canadian's going to end up on top in this one. And the other matchup, like I'm a big believer in the Brownwood Lions. I don't know if the moment's going to be too big for them, but I am going to pick Brownwood in this one. I saw what they could do against Lakeview this year, and God bless our boys in San Angelo, but Brownwood was not stopping.
I'm sorry, I just looked at
Yeah, don't know what that was, but anyway, I'm rolling with the Lions in this one. So I got Canadian over Wall and Brownwood over Decatur.
Everybody else has kind of gone. Besides Matt Trammell, he usually picks against us. He of course, he picked Canadian and Decatur, and Yantis Green picked Wall and Brownwood as well. But
hey, someone's got to give the Panhandle a voice too, man.
He's from the land.
Yeah.
He's the Lobo. So, here moving on. Of course, the Pit Barbecue sponsoring our picks. We can't move on without talking about the Pit Barbecue. For your Friday night skip out on the pizza and hamburgers from the stands, stop by the Pit Barbecue. This week, the COVER1 crew will be eating some pit pies, and man, they are delicious. So go get one today at 2330 Sherwood Way and tell Jesse the COVER1 crew sent you. All right, Chadwick, final thoughts, man. Let's talk about what do you think, man? What do you think so far just about the season? I have been happy with this season. Obviously, I wish Sonora was playing tonight, but it's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, man. It's just the way it goes. And I've been extremely happy with all the teams that have played this year. We've had some really, really good games, and I've made some memories that I will certainly remember for a long time. Chadwick?
Oh, yeah, man. And we'll say I got to watch a little, like several of the members of the Central Bobcats play in a basketball tournament this weekend, and I thought the same thing. I was like, man, I wish they were still playing. But hey, just gonna talk about the Wall Hawks a little bit more. While I picked Canadian in this game, believe me when I say if Wall wins, I will be happier than anyone else. I am a fervent believer in Coach Guy's program and in these players. So prove me wrong, guys. Like straight up, I will be the first one to say, hey, you know what? You were right. I was wrong. Now go win a state championship. So, in my own unbiased journalistic opinion, I hope that it's going to be a good game tonight, and I'm pulling for the Hawks. But yeah, just go out there and get it done.
All right. This has been the COVER1 pregame show. Stick around. We're gonna stick with it all the way through state, and then we're gonna have our COVER1 awards. We're gonna have MVP, offensive MVP, defensive MVP, coach of the year, comeback player of the year, first, second teams, and we will see you at halftime.